Hi, this is Scott Wheeler. I want to talk to you about a project I started in January 2025 this year about Lawrence Welk and the Lawrence Welk Show. I chose this time in part because this year is the 70th anniversary of the show's national debut, and it was on television for more than 25 years originally. And in many states across the country, including my home state of Florida, you can see it in a number of markets, cable markets across the country, in Florida, here in North Florida where I live. And I think it's relevant too because, I mean, I'm going to comment on this in a future video about how Saturday Night Live has done skits about the show. I'm going to give my opinion on that in the near future. But apart from that exposure that many young people have to the show through that show, I'm concerned that many others may have never heard of it, or through that may have come to think of it as something to mock. And so, while I think that you can make lemonade out of satire, I want younger people and people my age, I'm in my 30s, I want them to know the show for more than just those skits, and to take the time to look into the show, whether it's through their local PBS affiliate, where many of them show it, or read a book like his biography, Wonderful, Wonderful, to learn about the man behind the show and why he put the show together in the way he did, and to appreciate the many positive aspects of his personal life and his many positive traits. He was a man of faith. He was a man of perseverance. He wanted a show that was specifically family friendly, so that mothers, for example, wouldn't have to be uncomfortable about anything their child might see on the show. And I think that's part of the reason why it was on originally for so long, because of the fact that it could be something that you could have your grandparents watching with you. You could have your little children with you. You yourself could enjoy it. It encompassed a wide variety of musical genres: country music, pop, some rock, polka, patriotic music, the kind you might associate with the 4th of July. They did seasonal themed shows for like Christmas, Easter. So that's why I say it's a national treasure and it deserves more attention. And one of the things too that bothers me is, it seems like when I was growing up, and maybe this is unique to me, but it seems like growing up, you hear about certain movies, certain TV shows. It's like everybody knows about them, but then they're rarely shown on television in reruns. And it's like, why is that? Now, as I said, Lawrence Welk Show in many parts of the country is shown in reruns. But the point is, I want to make sure that it's not just one or two age sets that are familiar with the show, because I've come across before, not about him, but maybe other people that have been famous in the past. And either in a movie, some little kid will say, "Who is that?" or "What is that?" And the adult will be like shocked that they don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised whether it's about Mr. Welk or a number of other people that were famous 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, deserve to be remembered, that for some reason their legacy and their contribution fades with the generations that did benefit from them. There's a quote, without getting political, I think it's relevant though, from Ronald Reagan, where he's talking about freedom doesn't get passed through the bloodstream. Well, I think that sometimes people, without meaning to, might mistakenly think that their children, their grandchildren will just automatically know about the good qualities of a person, or the person themselves, or what they contributed to society, just assuming that, yeah, it'll be there, it'll always be there, because it was a big deal when I grew up. But that's not always the case. And so I'm going to lay out some of my goals quickly here in this video, and then I'm going to discuss some of what I want to talk about in this channel in addition to that. So one of my goals is, I wanted to have this be a 50-state quest of sorts, where I want to start out in Mr. Welk's native state of North Dakota, which I have done starting in January, and neighboring states such as South Dakota, where Myron Florin, who was an accordionist on the show for many years, was from. I want to start there, where you would think that support might be the strongest and the easiest to get because of the local connections. And I want to branch out across other parts of the country. I've started reaching out in my local area. For example, I like cars, antique cars. And so I went to a car show this year where there were a number of vendors, and I got their business cards. I've tried to contact them, see if they could give me a letter of support for my efforts. I've contacted a number of local officials at different levels, mayor's office, county commission, state representative, state senator, my U.S. congressman. And so I'm really wanted to start this out this year thinking big, wide, and deep. And so I understand that with many things in life, you're not going to get usually 100% support. You're not going to get all the success that you want with it overnight. And so I started early in January, and it's now June. And so we're about 5.5 months into this. And I have had a number of successes, especially in North Dakota, which I'm going to lay out in future videos. But suffice to say right now that 31 out of the 53 counties in North Dakota at the moment, their county commissions have approved either a proclamation honoring Mr. Welk in their county on July 2nd, for example, the 70th anniversary date, or Fern Welk, who is his wife, in Morton County. Oh, I forgot to say, Lawrence Welk's home county is Emmons County that approved it. Then Fern Welk, his wife, in Morton County, where she was originally from, they approved a proclamation for the calendar year of 2025 to celebrate. And so, some counties have done things like that at the county level, local level, a proclamation for a certain period of time. Some counties have given me a letter of support that encompasses a wider element of what I'm trying to do. And so I would take that to mean that they support my efforts to see if the governor of North Dakota, Kelly Armstrong, would sign something. I reached out earlier this year. I submitted a proclamation request, and after some time went by, I got back in touch with the governor's office, and I was told that it wasn't approved because normally proclamations are only approved for things like organizations, groups, things like that. And when you go back and on the website where they show you the proclamations from about 2016, 2017 up through now, you can see that in almost all cases that's true. There's very, very few exceptions to that. So I want to see if I can instead get a letter of support from Governor Armstrong for my efforts in the state and Congress and other parts of the country. Instead, I'd like to see if we can come to some kind of accommodation. I'd like to think and hope that as the governor of the home state of Lawrence Welk, that he would be open to doing something, being part of this in some way, especially as I have a lot of documents that I can send through the mail, through attachments on email or whatever, to show that this is for real. This isn't a prank or stunt, if that's a concern anybody has in the governor's office. Or if they are taking it seriously, like I say, maybe they just felt that proclamation wasn't the best way to handle it, that there might be another avenue that they would be more comfortable with. And I'm happy to work with them on that if they're open to it. And so I've also reached out to the member of Congress for North Dakota, Julie Fedorchak's office, and a staffer gave me an email address where I can send additional information about this because I'd like to see if she can be a sponsor or a co-sponsor of a resolution, a symbolic gesture basically for the House to vote on. They've honored other people in the past. I'm not seeking like the Congressional Medal of Honor or something like that. Not that he doesn't deserve a medal, but I'm just saying the point is I'm trying to make this as simple as possible. In other words, I don't want there to be needless obstacles in the way, such as debating over should this amount of money be spent on honoring him? Should there be no money spent? Can we do a symbolic gesture or whatever? I just want to, try to cut through things that could get in the way and just focus on something that should be pretty easy. Like, for example, I've thought before of people that are kind people, but it's not either they can't afford to do something or they're not sure how to go about helping. But if you can find a way to persuade them, they'll help you with something. Nice people, but money's not always the first way that they're able to help. And so I figure let's cut through that and do proclamations, see if there can be a congressional resolution approved by Congress. Normally, these kind of things seem to pass unanimously or with very few exceptions. I don't think many have been defeated. So that's why I say I want to try to make this both bipartisan and nonpartisan so that both parties can come together. I mean, if in the end only one party will support it, okay, but I would rather Lawrence Welk himself, based on what I've come across about him, he wasn't trying to be a controversial figure. He's trying to be somebody that I would like to think could be a uniting force, a uniting contributor to American life and society. And so in my efforts to honor him, I want to continue that. And I don't want to bring needless divisions or controversies into my efforts or into his legacy. So that's what I want to say about that. I've had printed out copies of many of these documents that I'm talking about, and I'm going to try to make shorter videos, perhaps 5 minutes, 3 minutes, from the different counties. I think it's appropriate both to express my gratitude specifically to the specific places instead of just with a one brush including them all together. I'd like them to get due appreciation publicly for that. And I'd also like to be able to show the proof of what I'm talking about to the public. I have an email address set up specifically for my efforts about the 70th anniversary of the Lawrence Welk Show's national debut and honoring Mr. Welk. I've also included Myron Florin, who's, as I said, originally from South Dakota, in my tribute efforts. And the email is the 70th anniversary at gmail.com. I wanted to use something like Welk 70th anniversary, Lawrence Welk Show 70th anniversary, something like that. But since I'm not entirely sure if I would need like written permission from anybody to use his name in that way, I just figured I'd play it safe on the name. And I can come up with something different later if I need to. But that's about it. I'm probably today going to make another video where I lay out some of the personal reasons why I'm doing this, because I've been asked that before. And on at least one or two occasions, people seem surprised somebody my age would even know about the show, watch the show. And so fill you guys in on that. So I would appreciate if you like this video or any of the other videos I make to please click the like button, to share them, to subscribe to the channel. It's called Lawrence Welk Tributes. And perhaps you can send me through email something you'd like to share, or some kind of memories you have or something like that, or some ideas that you might think might be of help, or recommend people for me to reach out to that might be helpful, that might offer me a letter of support, because I'm not just reaching out to government. I have support from the North Dakota Farmers Union. I have support from the North Coast Fest in Minot, North Dakota, which is a Scandinavian festival. It's the largest in North America. And I've been interviewed on 3 TV programs, 3 news programs in North Dakota. They haven't all given explicit endorsements, but they've given me the chance to speak about this. And the Minot Daily News in April did a story on my project after the Ward County Commission unanimously approved a proclamation. And so I'm trying to reach out to media, whether they endorse or don't endorse, and just give me the opportunity to speak without, endorsing either way. Looking for letters of support from businesses, like I said, organizations, musical groups. The International Music Camp also gave me a letter of support recently this month. And so thank you for watching. Take care, and expect to see some more videos of me wearing this shirt today, because I want to try to make up for some lost time. I set this channel up in March, and I'm finally getting around to it now, making the videos, partly because I was a bit nervous about how my presentation would be, since I'm not a professional broadcaster, might not be polished enough, and I don't have all the graphics to put on the screen. Maybe in the future that'll change, but I need to get on this already, so I wanted to get started today. So thank you for watching, and take care.